Before there were walls, before checkpoints, drones, or airstrikes, there was a village, and in that village, a man named Yusuf, who just wanted to live. But history never lets ordinary people live quietly. This is the story that began it all, the revolt that planted the first seed of resistance, and the wounds that never healed. It's 1936, Palestine, still under British rule, a land carved by empires, promised to strangers, and controlled by a crown thousands of miles away. Yusuf, a young man from the countryside, drifts between his farm and Jerusalem. He dreams of freedom, a life not ruled by soldiers or empire. But across the sea, storms are gathering. Jewish refugees flee Nazi Europe. Boats arrive on the shores of Haifa, and the land, once shared by farmers and shepherds, begins to tremble. The world doesn't know it yet, but this is how the story of modern Palestine begins. By May 1936, the revolt erupts. Villagers, workers, imams, they unite against British colonial rule. It's the first great uprising of the Palestinian people, a cry against dispossession, against betrayal. The British call it insurgency. Palestinians call it revolt. For 3 long years, the land burns. Over 5,000 Palestinians are killed. Leaders are exiled. Entire villages punished, bulldozed to the ground. And yet, amid the ashes, a people learn what resistance means. Because sometimes, even when you're losing, you're learning how to never kneel again. In Palestine 36, director Annemarie Jacir tells this story not through generals or kings, but through the eyes of one man, Yusuf. He moves through the chaos, torn between fear and courage, between his home and a city on the edge of rebellion. Every shadow in Jerusalem hides a secret. Every knock on the door could mean the end. Jacir doesn't give us slogans. She gives us faces, farmers, mothers, children, the first generation of Palestinians who dared to say no. And in their no, you hear echoes of Gaza, Jenin, Nablus. Even today, while Yusuf struggles for his land, the British plan their exit. But before they leave, they shape the future, divide communities, empower militias, rewrite the maps. The revolt is crushed, yet in that silence, new forces rise. Zionist paramilitary groups, armed and trained under British watch. The film doesn't say Israel. It doesn't have to. You see its birth in every frame. The dispossession begins here. The refugee camps of 1948 begin here. And you realize the story of Palestine didn't start with rockets or wars. It started with broken promises and a people erased from their own land. 89 years later, the same dust, the same grief, different uniforms, same story. The British uniforms have turned into drones and fighter jets. The Empire's accent has changed, but the language of occupation hasn't. Jacir's Palestine 36 isn't just history. It's a mirror, a reminder that the world learned nothing from the first revolt. From Gaza's bombed streets to Jenin's raids, the struggle of Yusuf lives on, because memory itself is resistance. They burned his fields, they killed his brothers, but they couldn't kill his hope. Every time a child in Gaza whispers, "We will return," Yusuf's story breathes again. Every olive tree planted under siege is a reply to empire. And that's what this film gives us. Not just pain, but the unbreakable heartbeat of a nation. History doesn't repeat, it reminds. And today, it's reminding us loudly. The world is watching again. What will you do? Don't stay silent. Share the story. Stand with Palestine.